Hi everyone! Today I'd like to talk about the oboe embouchure, or how you hold your mouth when you play. There is a common problem that I find when I go out to teach beginner oboe clinics at schools, or even if a new student comes here to my studio, and that's the idea of biting the reed. What I mean by that is that we close our jaw too much on the reed. And then it closes the opening of the reed and you get a kind of a pinched sound. It's usually pretty sharp, not a lot of control over dynamics or sound. So if you remember, the opening of the reed is kind of elliptical shaped like that. If we bite down with our teeth, we close that opening off. So ideally we want to have an embouchure that encourages the opening to stay open. So a couple of tricks that I use to help people remember to keep their jaw down, or in other words, your teeth apart. First of all, this is what it sounds like, just my reed noise with my embouchure. But this is what it would sound like if I closed down too much with my teeth. So you see the sound is higher, it's unstable, and it doesn't have the same kind of consistency of tone. So what I often tell younger people or new oboe players to do is to imagine that they have a frozen pea on either side of their mouth, so in their molars, or holding onto a frozen pea with your back teeth. And that will prevent your front teeth from coming together. The other thing is to remember that the corners should come forward and your embouchure should be relatively circular, always with your lips rolled inside though, or rolled over your teeth. You never ever want to put your teeth directly on the reed. So with that idea of having the frozen pea back there, keeps your teeth apart. Your lips are therefore rolled over your teeth, cushioning the reed, and then it can vibrate freely. So when we bite, it's usually because we don't have enough strength in our muscles to support the reed, and so we end up doing whatever we can just to get a sound to come out. And that's why people bite. And the only solution, therefore, is to build up some strength to make your embouchure stronger. There's good news and bad news. Your muscles here break down really quickly, and that's good and bad. It's bad because it means that you have to practice regularly. If you take a break for 2 or 3 days in between practice sessions, you'll just be back at square one every single time. So you do have to practice every day, every other day, to maintain the muscle tone that you have in your embouchure. Even if you only have 5 minutes, it's worth it. Just to keep those muscles engaged. It's good that those muscles break down, because if they didn't, then we'd all walk around with like massive mouths, like cauliflowers for mouths. Us and trumpet players, we would look pretty silly. So I'm grateful that those muscles do break down. Anyway, so I'm going to show you some exercises to help build strength in your embouchure and maintain strength in your embouchure. They're all pretty fun. You don't even need your oboe to do this. So the first one is to imagine that you've got those frozen peas in your back molars and just sustain a tone. So you notice I wasn't hanging on to the reed, I wasn't holding it. If you're worried about it falling, and it might, then hold your hand right underneath. And then if it falls, it will fall into your hand. The cork end is heavier, so it will fall onto its cork first, and it should be fine. So once you've got that, and you can play that tone pretty consistently, then we can start adding more to this exercise, adding more difficulty, making it feel a little bit more strenuous, because then you'll actually build some good muscle in there. So the first step, after you get that initial tone, is to just roll your lips outside of your mouth, so roll them outside, forward, and that will sound like this. So it's really important here that you are using your muscles. I know that the pitch went down, but that's not the important part. The important part is that you used your muscles here. So you can do a similar kind of effect with your jaw by lowering your jaw. But that's not going to help you build muscle. Your jaw is bone, and you can't strengthen that. So really hold your jaw in one spot. A way to tell, because sometimes you just don't know. I don't know if my jaw is moving. I don't think it is. Well, then you can just put your fingers here. If your jaw were moving, it would look like this. And you can see that time that my fingers were actually moving. So just to gain awareness of whether your jaw is moving or not, you can leave your fingers here, just hold onto your jaw. And you can do that as many times as it takes, it's all good. Then, if that becomes easy for you, you can add another layer of complexity, I suppose, and this one does feel a little bit harder, is rolling it back in. So rolling it back in requires a certain amount of strength, so you might have to work up to that one, but it's really, really helpful. So that's really, really good practice. You don't even have music in front of you to read. You don't have a complicated oboe to work. You just have your reed, and you're doing some really, really good work. So if the reed, the roll outs, the roll out and back, if those start to become pretty easy for you, then you can start having some real fun. My students love this. If you have that kind of control, then you've built some really good muscle. Right, all with the muscles here. And that will really, really strengthen your embouchure. You will 100% notice a big difference to your tone, to your endurance, to your intonation, whether you're in tune or not. It's kind of a big deal. So good luck with that. If you have any questions, message me. I'll try to answer them. Remember, keep your jaw still. Blow really fast. Try to get the best tone you can. It's really the best instrument out there, so let's all have lots of fun playing it. Thanks. Bye.